Welcome back to the Daily Biker Podcast, presented to you live from White Lightning Harley-Davidson. I am here again with Lewis Bell.
Yo.
Y'all know he can say more than yo, but that's kind of his thing that he likes to do. Yeah, catchphrase. All right, so we were talking about what to do on this show. And I think one of the biggest things that kind of attracts us in the area to the podcast and stuff is the area that we live in. I mean, really, it's I was talking to a gentleman from Nashville kind of about the bikes riding and stuff like that. And this place, East Chattanooga, or East Tennessee, not East Chattanooga, but East Tennessee is kind of a pretty hopping place for motorcycles in general. It's hard to go anywhere and not see any bike.
Yeah, I mean every back road, especially during the spring, summer, and fall, every back road in this area that I can think of. I mean, there's really not a bad road that wouldn't be, when you're driving in a car and be like, oh man, I would love to have a motorcycle on this road right now. Or every even our highways, I mean, hell, even our interstate goes through some of the mountain areas, and even though it's an interstate drive, it's still very nice ride.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. It's interesting you say the interstate. I know a lot of people that are appealed to getting on the interstate, or appalled to getting on the interstate, I should say. Wrong choice of words there.
It's my education, my high school education.
But I don't mind riding the interstate. I know a lot of times out of Chattanooga, we'll head up, riding northeast, riding out towards Knoxville and Townsend, Tennessee, and Maryville and stuff like that. We'll go up there, have a good time, go get something to eat. We usually end up making a trip that should be much shorter than it is, a much longer.
Yeah, well, and that's kind of the appeal. That's kind of the appeal of it. I mean, when my wife and I first started riding, we were basically our whole plan for the day was we're going to point the fender in a direction, and we're just going to figure out where we end up. Start moving, start driving, go for a couple of hours, and then when you finally pull over, stretch your legs or get gas, then you're looking at your phone going, okay, exactly where am I now? And it's amazing just in this area, places that are not that far away that you've never been to. And I'm talking not the bigger towns or cities, but these real small towns, small little courthouse squares that are, miles off the interstate that you have absolutely no reason to go there other than there looks like there's a nice little twisty back road that leads to it. That's what the biggest draw for us.
Well, I think getting out and doing those rides, like you said, just going, what's over here? That gives you a story to tell. I guess it was your bachelor party.
Yeah.
Or kind of quote unquote bachelor party.
Yeah.
We're two wild and crazy guys. So we just decided to roll up to a car show in Polk County, and then rolled out of there kind of hungry and found, we'll just call it a bar.
We found what Google said was a restaurant.
I'm not sure if they had food, though.
Oh, they absolutely didn't have food.
Well,
Google said they had food. That's the reason we went there.
I think he was eating pork rinds. I think the guy himself was eating the pork rinds.
And for whatever reason was smuggling bags of frozen onion rings out the back door to somebody that pulled up in the parking lot.
Well, that's how we knew that there was establishment, because when we first pulled up, he had the two grills out front, which means obviously he cooked something, but that minivan was there, 20 pounds of onion rings.
Yeah.
So, but I think it's getting out, riding, and just going, whatever. Let's go here. Let's go there. That's how you find those establishments. I know locally we have a pretty popular road. I would keep myself quiet, not let everybody know where this road is, but it's not like it's a secret at all. But Suck Creek Road, at one point in time, someone went down Suck Creek Road and went, this sure would be a fun road on a motorcycle. Now, at the same time, there's some YouTube videos of Suck Creek Road where people are having their own little accidents. There's there's a YouTube video, I can't think of the name of it, but the dude is parked at the bottom of the road, stopped for a funeral, and he's off on the shoulder, and a car comes flying
So
up past
he was
him.
a friend of mine in high school. I went to high school with that guy, and really, really nice guy. Got bad situation. People stopped unexpectedly, and he came in kind of Leroy Jenkins style and crashed a funeral procession there. Yeah, it was a bad deal.
It's always a good time to just get out and ride. Just get out and go. I know we've had situations where it's like, oh, where do you want to go? Let's go this way.
Yeah.
Okay, where are we going? This way.
We'll figure it out.
I don't know. We're just going. But I think that is what it. Sometimes it's really about. Sometimes that's what you need to get out there and clear your head. And I've had people before go, man, I saw you cruising down the road the other day. You were just kind of wiggling around on your motorcycle. I'm like, I'm just enjoying myself.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, that's one thing that we loved was when we would get out and go places that we haven't been before. And it's not necessarily the towns that everybody knows. It's just back roads, taking a long way to get there. The scenery, there's, as far as countryside scenery, there's not really a better place in the southeast other than where we live right now.
Yeah, well, I mean, you start getting a little too far north. And when I say too far north, I really mean kind of getting past Kentucky. There's scenery, but I mean, I've been there. Unfortunately, a lot of it is the Ohio River Valley, and it's kind of flat. It's kind of straight. There's a cornfield or two.
Yeah.
But the further you go south, kind of same thing. Once you kind of start getting south of, we'll say Columbus, you kind of start getting back into that flat and straight. Now that scenery, though, at the same time, it's a different type of scenery, but I love seeing that the moss hanging from the trees, the little swampy areas. You go cruising by and you start kind of thinking about, I wonder if there's an alligator sitting right there watching me ride by, and then all of a sudden you realize, oh crap, I need to be paying attention to the road as you swerve across 4 lanes of traffic.
Yeah.
It's not like that's ever happened or anything. But, we have kind of a privileged area. There's this thing. I don't know a whole lot about it. I really want to read into it. If you ever want to look it up, it's called the Biker's Dozen, but it's supposed to be 12 routes out of the southeastern area, and several of them start in the Chattanooga area. But you had mentioned last time we were together on here about the Dragon, going up riding the Dragon in the Skyway. I have people that they're not necessarily motorcycle people. They just like to get out and drive through the country, and they'll ask me, people, when I'm at work, because I work an hour south of Chattanooga, and they'll ask me, they go, oh, how close are y'all to the Dragon? I'm like, I could probably get up there about an hour and a half if traffic is right. And you just see their face. It's like, really? I mean, we decided at, 2 o'clock that day to go have dinner at Tapico Lodge.
Yeah. It's just far enough out to where it's not your backyard. It is it's a little bit of a drive to get out there. Plus, the drive once you get there is a lot of fun. And one of the reasons too why I like going to these places that are miles off the interstate, Dragon being one of them, food, cool food, bars, places that you would otherwise not see. And I think that's one of the great things about having motorcycles. You get out there and see those places that you otherwise wouldn't.
Well, talk about cool food and bars. The ride that we've now done a couple times, riding up to Copper Hill, McCaysville. It's Copper Hill, Tennessee, and McCaysville, Georgia. The state line runs right through the middle of it. But what, an hour maybe?
Yeah, maybe. And then that place is to show you kind of how much influence the especially the riding community has. There's the Sportster we were talking about earlier, guys.
We had that Sportster fired up right next to us. Yeah, that was the Sportster I was talking about on the last episode. It is still here. It's mean. So anyways.
So you talk about Copper Hill and McCaysville. So you want to know just a good example of, what the biker community and the hobby, the lifestyle, whatever you want to call it, how it can affect, local economies and stuff. That place is probably the most perfect example. It is by no means easy to get to. It has a population of maybe, 1,000, maybe. I don't know.
Well,
don't fact check me on that. But
the closest interstate is literally where we get off the interstate, just in Cleveland.
Right? Yeah. To drive another.
I mean, it's
hour to get there.
It's a 10-minute trip down the interstate for an hour off the beaten path. But what's so cool though, too, not just about that little town, is that ride up there.
Yeah. I mean, it's a great ride up.
We have to kind of go through town a little bit, going up through Cleveland and everything. But then once we start rolling past Ocoee, seeing the water, seeing the twisties and the turns, where the rock slides are, and of course, this time of year, even if we get a 65-degree day and we want to go up there, there's dustings on top of the mountains. I mean, yeah, believe it or not, we can see snow in Tennessee. It's a rare occasion, but we can, or southern Tennessee, I should say. I think other parts tend to get it a little bit more than we do.
Well, and you talk about a gem of a little ride and a cool little location. That place basically consists of a town square with a river, the Ocoee River, that runs through the middle of it. And for years, when the copper mine shut down, there was nothing there. I think there might have been one bar, maybe a drugstore. Actually, the McCaysville Gun and Drug Store, it's still there. It's kind of a draw. But eventually people, especially in the biker community, they found out about this gem of a little ride. And a lot of bikers started going through the town, and it has really brought back the town square now that had basically nothing but abandoned buildings. Now there's 2 or 3 different breweries there, some small little mom and pop businesses that are filling it up.
I think sometimes we kind of run into some situations broadcasting on the show floor. It's something you got to deal with. But I mean, like I said on the last show, we are on the sales floor. We're not in a back office. We're not hiding out in a corner. I'm not doing this from my house pretending like I'm at a dealership. We are sitting at one of the tables that the salesmen do paperwork at here at the dealership. I've got a Street Glide Special in front of me, and I've got a trike right behind me, a freewheeler. So it's definitely a really neat place to do this. But yeah, going up to Copper Hill, like you said, it's that small town.
Yeah, it's that small town, and people people really have no reason to do that route other than just the roads itself, the back road, getting away from the interstates. And so when we started riding, the first time I remember going there was probably I did not have my driver's license, so I'm thinking around that 13, no, I wasn't that young, probably 14 years old. I did my first long ride on a 250 Rebel, and my dad was on the Road King and did the whole loop. The what is it? The Ocoee. What highway is that? Highway 60.
I think it's 64.
64. Go through Copper Hill, McCaysville, go across to Ellijay, and then
Yeah.
that comes back down into either like Dalton or Chatsworth. I did that whole ride with about 5 or 6 other bikes. I had no license plate. I was
Breaking the
way
law, breaking the
over
law.
it, 14 years old, on a 250 Rebel.
Well, but I don't know if it still is. 14 years old in Tennessee, you used to be able to get your motorcycle license.
yeah, I
I
think
don't know if that law is still
with as many laws as I was breaking at that time, a license wouldn't have done me any good. I'd
Well, that
probably
might be
not.
true. That might
But I remember going through that town for the first time, and there was nothing there. We had no reason to stop. We went through, and I just remember, oh, it's a little town square. Okay. But coming back years later in 2000, I'm going to say it was probably about 15 or 16. I remember as a kid going through that town. I started looking familiar. I knew I'd been in that area before, but it'd been a very, very long time. And saw a few little restaurants, didn't think anything of it. So now when you go through there, first off in the summer, spring, and fall, there's motorcycles everywhere. There's motorcycles everywhere.
I think that's just, like I said, an East Tennessee trait, though.
Yeah, well, it is. But, you see a lot of people from out of town, even sports cars, too, not just motorcycles, sports cars. But it's for that driving experience that you get, the scenery. And as a result, like I said, there's a ton of breweries, there's a ton of restaurants, little shops and everything. The foot traffic has, probably gone up 800% in the last, I'm going to say 5 years.
Yeah.
And just since we've been riding up there. So, and guess what? Especially bikers, hate to toot our own horn. We come in there, we spend money, we don't cause any problems. Everybody benefits from it.
Yeah. I mean, it's good time. I haven't had anybody up there treat me with any indifference being on a motorcycle. But at the same time, how many times have we taken overnight trips to Gatlinburg on motorcycles? I mean, when we were talking about you riding the Street Glide for the first time and making that decision, that's what that was.
Yeah, that was my first trip. Was from Chattanooga to Gatlinburg. When I first bought the Street Glide
With a passenger, so you didn't even get
with a passenger
to learn how the bike rode by itself. You just kind of did it.
Yeah,
It's really crazy when you actually get out and you ride and you go, wow, I didn't realize that. There's so many little back roads. I mean, if you want to get to like the middle of Tennessee and you're an interstate person, I'm sorry, there's not an interstate to the middle of Tennessee.
yeah. Well, and even if there was, you can go I-40 and go from one end to the other, but there is a certain there are certain places I guess the really small town feel that you're just not going to get from the interstate.
Well, yeah, but like when we went to Brushy Mountain, okay, you can get the interstate. You run the interstate up to Knoxville, cut 40, back over and everything to get to it. But, I mean, we ran straight up Highway 58,
Yeah,
cut through that way to get over to it, met up with the other people that we were going to Brushy Mountain with. That was a ride.
yeah,
That was a ride. That was a good time. That's also one of those experiences that I was telling you about, where it's your wife, to show if someone that saw her out on that ride and went, wow, she's only been riding for a little over a year. You never would have thought it, because she got out, she did that ride with us, and she had a good time. She kept up with us, and it was a fantastic experience. The people I was with, the route that I took. We went up there for Jordan's birthday. that was a total surprise to Jordan because Jordan didn't even know everybody was coming, and then people
Oh, yeah.
people start showing up. It's like, ah! So that was, you know, that overall experience. And some people like to ride by themselves. I don't necessarily like to ride with big groups, but I do like to ride with other people. I think it's more fun. I think being able to share those memories of the places that you go and the things that you do. And, you know, there's places that we rode to. What was the barbecue restaurant called?
So I was trying to figure that out. I should have Googled it. So I think it was Collins Barbecue in McMinnville, Tennessee.
Okay.
That's probably one of my most favorite rides.
I never would have ever thought about riding to McMinnville.
Yeah, because there's really nothing there. Now, their little town square was pretty neat. But
You're in the middle.
in the absolute
the
middle.
Tennessee.
Yeah, and the thing is it was what really appealed. McMinnville just happened to be there. You know, that definitely wasn't a destination. During the whole the beginning of the COVID thing back in, I think it was March or April. Nice day. Took off. It was my wife, my mom, and myself. We took off on our bikes, and it started out just, we're going to point the fender in a direction and go. I wanted to go through my hometown. I wanted to go across Suck Creek Mountain. I wanted to go across Whitwell Mountain, and I didn't know where we were going to end up. And the route, I just started making right-hand turns and come up with this perfect, it was almost a perfect loop. If you were wanting to do a day ride, you go across two mountains, actually you go across three mountains, and then cool little town square, a few restaurants to eat at, you can have a meal, whatever, and then when the thing that I thought was great about the ride is when after you've done the ride there, a lot of times you're on the back end, you're trying to go home.
Yeah.
So you drive probably 25 minutes, you get on 111, and it is a straight shot back to Chattanooga.
Yeah.
It's like you're on the interstate. So, okay, the ride's done, we've ate, now we're going home,
Yeah,
and you're in the
definitely-
expressway back home.
It definitely felt like it took us 3 hours to get there and 45 minutes to get back.
Yeah. And you don't go far. Like, McMinnville's not that far. The way the crow flies, it's not that far away.
I think it was like 70 miles one way.
Yeah, we just took the scenic route to get there, and we made an
I would definitely say it was a scenic route.
enormous circle is what we did.
I
We
would
made
definitely
an
say it was a
enormous
scenic
circle.
route.
Yeah, it was great.
It was the scenic route. But that's definitely one of the rides to remember. I mean, we went past places that I didn't know about. I didn't know about where the guys were doing the what are they, paragliding?
Oh
When
yeah,
we stopped at the gas station,
yeah,
the
right
guys were
there.
paragliding off the
Where I'm
mountain.
from in Whitwell, Tennessee, it's became kind of a hang gliding and paragliding, whatever you want to call it, hot spot right now. So you'll be sitting at the gas station or some of the restaurants there, and you can actually see people just flying, jumping basically straight off the mountain.
Yeah. Well, and I didn't know about that area, but where I did know that we rode up to, what was it? Probably sometime in 2019, the hang gliding point in Chattanooga.
Oh yeah, on Lookout Mountain.
Yeah. So we're talking, sitting at the house going, oh, you want to go for a ride? I've only got a couple hours. Okay. So we ride up to the hang gliding point, and we park and we sit and watch guys jump off a mountain.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, what's more fun than watching guys jump off the side of a mountain?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you never know how that's going to turn out.
I mean, it was entertainment in your own right, but it was super, super neat, and it's those things people don't think about it. People don't know that there is those things. I think in Chattanooga though, it's kind of known. We have the loop that a lot of people on motorcycles know about. Doing the loop, you go up Highway 58 to Highway 60, run over into Dayton, Tennessee, and then jump on 27 and come back down that way.
And to me, in our area, and I don't know if it's just because I've done it so many times, but to me, that's the boring ride.
It kind of is.
And it's
more-
really a good
well,
ride.
It's a pretty ride,
Yes.
but I think we have kind of transitioned more a little bit into pushing the limits of our bikes, because we both rode sport bikes at one point in time, and then we started getting to that point where we just wanted to cruise. We got on our cruisers and we just poked around town, and we got out there bike week and we had on our flowing shirts and our flip flops, and we're like, hey, chilling. And I think it was an old man phase we went through, and then we realized that we weren't even 40 yet. So
Yeah, no kidding.
now we're back to blue jeans and hoodies and jackets and full face helmets and
Getting a little risky again.
yeah, knowing that there is a chance that this $30,000 motorcycle could end up in the ditch, but
This podcast is brought to you by Geico.
we're getting out there and we're showing people, though, at the same time, just as much as many other people are. I mean, there's hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people on Instagram right now that are doing this same thing. They're getting out there and they're pushing these baggers to the limit, and they're showing people what they can and can't do. So that ride is flat.
Yeah.
Straight, and it's full of Roscoe Pico train.
Well, and I'll tell you something about that ride too. Another reason why I'm really fortunate we live where we do. So going back to like the first episode talking about learning to ride and everything. So that loop that you mentioned was the first quote unquote ride that my wife did. We left the house. We lived right off Highway 58, so started going north on 58, and it was going to be her first taste of riding her own bike by herself, her first long ride. And then I chose that route because of the lack of turns, and it wasn't that crowded. It wasn't a lot of stop and go. It was just you could really get out and feel the bike, and I thought it's going to be great, so to throw a little complexity in that, when we were about an hour away from home, a storm popped up, and I just remember us going, trying to get to, I think it was Sail Creek or Spring City. I can't remember how far up we went, but trying to beat this storm. We finally beat it and pulled in. Had some of the best pizza that I've ever had before in my life, and I can't remember the name of this little restaurant, but thought it was over with. The roads were a little wet. We get back on the bikes, and we're out on the back road at the sticks again, and it hits. And her tire, I had not put tires on this bike yet, and they were not in the great shape. And
so, long story short, God rest Megan's soul, she was a sweet girl.
So the bike's still in one piece. And she's still riding. So, man, I tell you, that rain, it was tough for me to even ride in this rain, and I know it was tough for her too. But you know what? She gained a couple of years of experience really, really quick, and better rider for it.
Talk about riding in the rain. So I had a Honda 599, which essentially was a naked CBR 600, a little bit older technology in the motor and everything. That bike was an awesome motorcycle. I loved that bike. That bike had a mysterious thing to it, though. Whenever it rained,
it crashed.
I wish it was that simple. I would know it was operator error at that point in time. No, it wouldn't run. I'd pull over, it'd sit for 15 minutes, it'd fire right up. It sounded like it had water in the cylinders. We actually got it to do it I was working at the Honda shop. It was raining. We rode the bike, got it shut off, immediately got it back to the shop, ran bore scope down the cylinders, dry. Filter, dry. We didn't know there was something getting wet, but 2 and 2 was not making 4 at this point in time. It was really crazy. But that was one of those things. At that point in time, I was living off of 58, and I really enjoyed it. working downtown Chattanooga, living off of Highway 58, if you talk to most people and went, oh, how do you get back and forth to work?
Oh, it's a fairly straight simple. I mean, I take 24 up to 75 on the 153 and Highway 58.
I know that might sound complicated to people that don't live here, but that's like 4 major roads out of the 7 major roads that run through the Chattanooga area. But by God, me and my buddy would hit about 17 different roads just trying to find a curve in the road between there and home. I had a friend of mine that lived just down the road from me, and as soon as we left, we cut across the main road there and get on the ridge and ride down through the crest.
Oh yeah.
And the crest can be a fun road.
Yeah, you got to be on the right bike.
Yes, you definitely have to be on the right bike. Don't be on a bike that the suspension might be older. Not necessarily an old suspension, but if you haven't changed your fork fluid in a little while, you might want to do that. And if your rear shocks are blown out, definitely don't go on that.
Yeah. But talking about some bikes, or some, not bikes, but some must-do rides if you live in this area. Definitely the ride through to McMinnville, and you can do it a variety of different ways. The way we did it was Highway 27, Suck Creek Mountain Road, whatever you want to call it. When you come into Whitwell, you turn right on Highway 28, and then go back up a mountain on Highway 108 to you'll go all the way, nearly all the way through Grundy County to Highway 56.
Now,
And that'll take you down a mountain into McMinnville.
56 is where we turned right before we went into Altamont, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
See, I was remembering most of that, and I know there somewhere around that 108 is where the paragliders were.
Yeah, Highway 28.
Okay, that was 28. So
Yeah.
the paragliders. Yeah, and then I remember going up over the mountain. We kept passing the guys driving by on their side by sides.
Mm-hmm.
I think one of the people in our group looked at me and goes, "Man, there was a whole bunch of guys." On
Yeah,
the
that was 108.
Wonder
Yeah.
where the police are. I'm like, they probably were the police. It's okay.
Yeah.
I mean, this is Grundy County, man.
Another one we mentioned, the McCaysville ride, especially, and those are two rides that are going to be, you can make a day of it. It's not something you're going to be overnight. You can leave, sometime 10, 11 o'clock, be back before the sun goes down, kind of deal.
And the McCaysville ride, too, voice cracking, still going through puberty in my mid-30s. The McCaysville ride, we've went out that way before and didn't go to McCaysville. Me and my wife have rode out to Blairsville, which is right out through that way. Now, of course, we went past McCaysville and past Copper Hill and everything up into North Carolina and come back down into Blairsville. But also the Orchard, Mercer's.
Oh yeah, Mercer's Orchard.
Rode over to Mercer's out through LJ. That was definitely an experience. See, these are things that I never would have done. Man, to be honest, I probably never would have went to McMinnville a day of my life. I probably never would have went to McCaysville a day of my life. I never would have went to Granddaddy Mims is where we rode to in Blairsville, a pretty cool little moonshine place. I never would have rode out to Mercer's Orchard. I never would have went to those places if it hadn't have been for motorcycles.
Absolutely, yeah. And I tell you what, a lot of these smaller towns are starting to cash in on that. They depend on it, and good for them. I'm glad. I hope they do really well with it because it's something that I enjoy doing. I enjoy visiting those places.
Well, I think that last time we went to McCaysville, and there was probably 25 of us. We lined our bikes up down the sidewalk.
Oh, yeah.
Someone in the group, I don't remember, said something about, are they going to say anything about us parking our bikes here? And I was kind of like, no, we just doubled the population of the town. So pretty sure it's okay.
Absolutely. And it's cool to go, one, ride. We go to Gatlinburg, and Gatlinburg's cool. And, we did that ride one time. We actually did a trip. We were going to stay about 3 days. And, my wife and I took off, loaded the Road King down, and decided we were going to go to, we were going to do a ride. She wasn't riding at the time, but we're going to take the Road King up, and we're just going to ride back roads in Gatlinburg. And, it was fun, but I'll tell you this, would I rather do one of these smaller towns? Yes, absolutely, because you don't have to mitigate the traffic. There's just not as many people. You can kind of open up the throttle a little bit, get around some good roads. To me, it's when you're going for the ride, hitting these smaller towns up, you're gonna get a lot. It's gonna be a lot more fun.
Well, yeah, I mean the Gatlin, when we do those Gatlinburg trips,
we're going for the destination.
Yeah, the ride up is gorgeous because I don't know if you go the same way because we went to Gatlinburg with your mom and Shannon and Scott and Jordan and other people that we hang out with and ride with. When we go, a lot of times we'll tend to go up into Townsend, and from Townsend we'll actually cut through the park there.
The Foothills Parkway.
No, not Foothills. Just go past.
Oh, Cage Cove. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So we'll cut up like through that way, and we'll come out on the upside of town. And dude, that is a gorgeous ride. It's that ride is probably almost absolutely perfect. I know the very first time we went up that way, and I'm coming through the forest there. As soon as we finally stopped on the other end, I got in a little bit of trouble. Your mom griped at me for I might have been traveling a little too fast through the national forest. I was at it. I was getting it. I was having a good time and enjoying myself.
Well, and it's those rides. Yeah, I mean they're great. What I always thought was cool about that ride you're talking about is the temperature difference. So especially when you're June, July, August, and then all of a sudden you start going around, and the Coe does it too. You get next to water, and then all of a sudden there's like a 20-degree humid, cold difference in temperature right there. It feels so good.
There's the line too when you're going to Gatlinburg. Honestly, since we've been riding, we've never went up the interstate, went through Sevierville that way on the bikes. We've always either went up like through Foothills Parkway or through the forest there. And both of those ways, you kind of got the ridge. You have to climb the ridge, and you start dropping off the backside of that ridge. And it's almost like as soon as you drop off the backside of that ridge, you cross a parallel, and you can just feel the temperature change.
Oh, yeah.
Whoa, that's a difference. I really don't know if there's a huge overall elevation change. I mean,
I'm not sure either.
I'm sure there's some sort of elevation difference, but it's kind of one of those things. But it's, talk about the temperature change. I guess it's been 3 or 4 years ago now. The whole joke about riding when it's super cold outside, riding back from Panama, left Florida and it was 41 degrees. We get to Atlanta, it's already below freezing, and the sun's just now setting. Yeah. What was going on? You were driving through the snow and you pushed your button on your heated seat?
I had to. As y'all were coming up, and probably you guys probably by the time I hit Monteagle Mountain were in Dothan. Maybe it was spitting snow, and I remember looking at the temperature on my rearview mirror, and I thought, I don't feel sorry for them at all.
we made our bed. We had to lay in it.
Yeah, I hope you enjoyed your tropical vacation there.
Yeah,
guys.
Yeah, there wasn't much tropics that year in Florida, but it was. I mean, I enjoy it. See, one of my biggest things about it, I enjoyed that ride, but I still have a story. We still have a story that we're talking about 3-4 years later. We still have those things. I still have pictures from my first street bike riding on the Dragon, and it's sometimes it's hard to put into words how memorable some of these stories are. and it's kind of one of those things where sometimes all you have to do is say a single word to somebody, one of your buddies or whatever, and you just see them look at you and smile because they know they have those same memories, and it's something. Something that's super hard to express to other people.
Well, and it's when you find a good ride. Now, whether it be you're the first person in your group to go up to the Dragon, and when you do these awesome rides, or you find a new route to go somewhere like McMinnville, for instance, you'll never forget the kind of sense of adventure, if you want to call it, about going somewhere for the first time and get to take it all in, and that's something you'll never forget. And then something else you'll never forget is when you kind of organize a group of buddies to go, and you go share that adventure with somebody.
Yeah.
You go take people out to the Dragon for the first time, or you take them on this, this day trip, whatever that you found. That is something that's really nice too.
That ride you mentioned, Monteagle Mountain. There's a ride that we did. I think you weren't with me, but I think the route because I've talked to you about it before. But going up on top of Monteagle Mountain, stopping at Jim Oliver's Smokehouse and grabbing some lunch, and then riding back. Now that loop is definitely a day's loop, and in that process, you cross 3 different mountains, and it's not like it's 3 mountains that are necessarily right next to each other. I mean, you got a little bit of distance. You got kind of a valley.
Right.
You actually cross one mountain twice.
Yeah.
So that's that ride in itself is a fantastic ride.
It is. In that area too, talking about Monteagle, so you come down, coming back towards Chattanooga, the Sequatchie Valley, of course that's where I was born, and raised, lived there nearly my entire life. So starting at one end of that valley and then going all the way to the other end.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't get much better than that. And, the cool thing is about it is you can take Highway 28 and go all the way to, I guess it would be Pikeville.
Yeah.
When the kind of the valley starts to end. Or you can take, on both sides of Highway 28, there are back roads that are some of the prettiest country in the world.
Yeah, well, I mean, so there's, when we rode out there towards Kimball, stopped that one day, and you discovered the difference between a French dip and a Philly cheesesteak.
Yeah.
I still remember you eating my sandwich. But when we came back, we came back down past Nickajack and the huge cave that's over off to the side.
Yeah, the Nickajack Cave, yeah.
That's one of those rides. There's things. You can see people watch a video and go, oh, where was that at? Mm-hmm. That's just right down the road here.
Yeah.
Where?
It's just it's less than it's 30-minute car drive from your front door. And that area too was another one that Megan and we decided we were going to point the fender in a certain direction, which led us across Lookout Mountain, which led us into Trenton, which led us across Sand Mountain into Bryan, Alabama, and then things started to look familiar and ended up right there by that cave that you're talking about. Again, you're making a big circle. It's a great ride in our area, and you're not going that far away from home.
Well, and I know one of the ways that we kind of figure out our rides too is based off of food. I mean, I like food.
Oh yeah, food and beer, absolutely.
There's no secrets about those things. So there's
great motivators in life.
There's been many a times where it's like, hey, there's this restaurant over here. It's about an hour away, hour and a half away. And next thing you know, we're getting on the map, trying to figure out a decent route to get there and be able to enjoy ourselves. That's sometimes to me, that's kind of what it's all about. I know I rode with a group one time up to Fall Creek Falls. I'd never actually lived in the area my whole life and never actually been to Fall Creek Falls. And I rode with a group of people. Their motto was the ride to eat and eat to ride. And there
good
was
people.
Yeah, there's some people in that group. It was. I think it was more than a motto as much as it was a way of life. That was a great time. I really enjoyed that time. So, with that being said, though, we're going to end out today's show. Basically, the final words I have to say is get out and ride. If you're in this area and you don't know where to go, shoot me a message. I'll give you a route. I'll tell you what's up. I'll tell you what you'll enjoy. If you're not from this area, if you're below Atlanta or north of Kentucky or something like that, and you're trying to figure out where to go, come down here. You know, one ride that I've been talking about doing, taking the ride and making a long weekend out of it, is riding up to Bowling Green. I'd love to go see the Corvette Museum, go see the Buffalo Trace, the whiskey distillery is up there.
Yeah.
And then there's a wheel company up there too. I can't remember the name of that wheel company. But there's a wheel company. Well, shoot, they make all kinds of parts, not just wheels. But I ran into them at Panama, and I was making a comment about it because I saw their license plate. And I really like their stuff. So, so with that being said, is there any destination you want to tell somebody to go right off to real quick before we end this? Just one right off the top of your head.
Right off the top of my head, no. And here's the thing. Finding out about this stuff yourself and accidentally coming across it is probably better than me sitting here telling you, oh, you need to go here and you need to take this route. Get on your bike, point the fender in the direction, north, south, east, or west, or anywhere in between, and just go. Go and take the route. Take a road that you've never been on before. Take the left turn, take the right turn that you've never done, and do that. Find this stuff on accident. That's how I did it, and we had a lot of fun doing it.
Well, that's all for us today. Once again, I'm Marcus. This is the Daily Biker Podcast. Lewis on my right.
Thank you, guys.
Have a good one.
Hey everybody, this is Sean at White Lightning Harley Davidson. I want to thank you for listening to the Daily Biker Podcast. You can reach the podcast on Facebook or Instagram at The Daily Biker, or you can email the podcast at thedailybiker@gmail.com. Be sure to keep an eye on White Lightning Harley Davidson social media pages for the most up-to-date information on all our events and where you can find the boys.